think it's all starting from really bad eating habits. You can get stuck in the washing machine, under the bed.
Dishwasher, kahin bhi, sofa. Let's get stuck.
It's essentially you eaten too much. If you had five small meals a day,
Then we'll all win.
At least one person is losing for sure.
That is actually, yeah. Welcome to yet another episode here on Ctrl+Alt+Rec. Today we're going to be discussing the brand new announcements that took place yesterday during its glow time, right? Let's maybe talk about the new iPhones, the new watches, as well as the other things that they have brought to a table. But start things off, I think the main thing that usually people talk about is the event itself. Any
Yeah.
thoughts on that to start with?
I mean, as always, incredible production qualities.
Yeah.
And then those flybys and transitions.
Yeah, the cool transitions and all.
Yeah.
But yesterday, there was only one transition which actually I liked. And this was like the first one.
Let me guess. Was it from that park and you show the buildings and it becomes like the photo on the wall.
It's the map on the wall. And then apart from that, it was more of the same.
Same, yeah.
Right? And I think that would probably be the theme of the overall event as well. It was-
Yeah. More of the same.
Yeah.
But it glows. That's it.
What glows?
Nothing,
As in all the creatives show that glowing nature.
And that's
whatever.
that whole
AI
AI
thing,
right?
yeah. Apple intelligence. But so we start with watches, maybe.
Which was the first one? The watch was the first one. Or the AirPods?
The watch was the first
Watch
one.
was the
So
first one.
what do you think of it?
Same, but
different.
Different.
Same.
But
Different.
still the same.
Same.
No, so I think, I mean, obviously the Apple Watches, at least for wearables, have been the gold standard
Yeah.
in terms of the performance, fluidity. So I don't think anyone's going to be questioning that aspect. It's interesting that they've taken up the sizes, right? So it starts at 42 now, which used to be 38 just like
Way back. Yeah.
until 2018.
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, they started with 38 and then
And
continued.
then they moved it up to a 40 in 2018, 18 or 19, Series 4.
Yeah.
And Series 7, they had moved it to 41, and now it's 42. So it's becoming bigger. However, so that's just the case size. So
Yeah.
actually the watch case itself is becoming bigger, but obviously a very good use of space. If I look at it, a Series 6 44 from a total area perspective is less than a Series 10 42. So they've been able to push it to the corners in a smaller casing, right?
Which is interesting though, because the question is typically watches, at least analog watches for ages, for centuries, have been measured with respect to the case sizing, the diameter, which is the 42, 46. But from a digital perspective, should we actually be talking more about screens also?
Also, it should be both.
Both.
Actually.
Because like this, it could be misleading for someone who has a 44 thinking that, oh, I won't get a 42 because it might be smaller. But in effect, if they're getting a bigger screen, might not be a bad choice then, right? So smaller footprint, but bigger screen. So that's a good thing. So
I mean, till the launch, I didn't actually know that
Yeah.
the 42 was supposed to be the case sizing 42
Yeah.
and not the screen size,
Yeah.
right? So it was
Yeah,
quite a...
I think it's a bit confusing at times as the consumer, especially because all these various standards of measurement or the way, like even a sensor, how a sensor is measured is very different from just, taking a ruler and then calling that a day.
But then what's still kind of sad, and that goes back all the way to the first Apple Watch or probably the Series 1. I don't know, the first Apple Watch, Series 0, right? And then they had a Series 1. I'm not too sure.
I think it's Series 1, yeah.
But yeah, Series 1 had a 18-hour battery life. I mean, obviously it didn't have always on display and all that stuff. It's still 18 hours today, right? You're in the 10th generation.
Yeah, that's
right?
weird, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure some consumers might be complaining. I mean, for a lot of our guys, I remember when the Mi Band battery life went down from 14, 15 days to like 11, 12 days and people were cribbing.
Yeah.
And this is 18 hours. So they say a day's battery life, but they measure a day. If you go in the fine print, it says 18 hours. So 18 hours...
All day battery life, but 18 hours.
All day battery life is 18 hours. Right? There's only one planet in the solar system which has a 18-hour day. It's not Earth.
I know where this is heading.
Would you know what it would be?
I don't want to guess. I think a lot of our Xiaomi fans are under 18 as well. So
No, but it's a solar system planet, right?
You
I'm
can
not
still
making it
call
up.
it
fine, fine.
So I mean,
Wait.
obviously, I think Mercury spins a little faster, or it doesn't spin.
Yeah.
I think it revolves faster. And then obviously there's Mars is very similar to Earth. Jupiter and Saturn, I guess, because of the size, probably would be having a bigger day.
Yeah.
But I definitely know that Uranus is the 18-hour day. So this watch is meant for astronauts who are going to that specific planet only.
Yeah. If you're visiting Uranus, then
Yes.
Apple cares about Uranus. All right, sorry. But yeah, I think ideally there should be a longer battery life then, right?
It should be.
Because I'm assuming with the larger size, larger footprint,
Yeah.
you should be able to put in more cells.
I mean,
Then
that was the theme with the iPhone also, right? They are claiming like the best battery
Best
life,
battery
the
life
biggest
and all.
battery
Yeah.
life. We have
So-
made the battery bigger and all these things.
I would assume, and we'll get to the iPhones a little later, but the iPhone Pro Max or the Plus might actually outlast your watch. So imagine
Yeah.
you have to charge your
Yeah.
watch more than you have to
that's
charge
an
your...
interesting thing.
So that's the thing, right? Smaller display, same. I'm guessing same efficient chipset kind of a.
Look at the use case, right? The watch is meant for fitness and everything else. Or
Yeah.
you basically go to sleep with it
Yeah.
for sleep tracking.
That is interesting, right? Like you technically, even if you get through the day, like the waking part of your day, you'll need to charge it overnight, which means you can't use it for sleep tracking. Then
So how do you figure out
How
the
do you-
sleep
how do you
apnea
use it?
part?
you can't.
Somebody,
Unless you charge it.
if you're married, your partner will
maybe,
let you know.
Maybe, yeah, maybe you notify Apple that your watch stopped while I was sleeping.
Or the other way is like maybe when you're commuting or at your desk. That's the only
So,
way I see it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess battery life, I don't understand the 18-hour full day battery life.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think from a screen perspective, the design, the overall engineering is obviously class leading.
They've gotten thinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, slightly thinner. So.
Yeah, that's what they were claiming, right? The thinnest
I mean,
Apple Watch yet.
It's gone from some 10 point some mm to 9 point some mm. Not really.
Yeah,
I still don't. I mean, it's just me, and this could also be a Xiaomi fan speaking. I never was a fan of the form factor.
the
That
squarish design is
yeah, I think my first smartwatch was the Moto 360.
Oh, Moto 360
And
was so good.
honestly, I got a smartwatch because it looked very close to a regular watch, and that's the wow factor in it, right? When you're showing it, people just assume that you're wearing an analog, but then it does a lot more.
Actually, Moto 360 2, the second
I had the
edition
first
that
one.
had come.
because the first one had all day battery life, but 4 hours.
Yeah, that was really bad. But the second generation
Yeah.
actually went on for at least about 2 days or so.
Yeah,
if
the
I
second
remember.
one was better. Yeah.
No, so even my first gen, it had like issues of 6 hours or 7 hours of battery life, but they pushed out an update and then it lasted more than a day. They just pushed out an update. I mean, nobody thought that it's possible, but they actually did, and it actually lasted longer.
I don't remember. I probably switched to the second gen
By then, yeah. Perks of being.
I paid for it, so obviously it's not very easy to move on.
I paid for the first one,
Oh,
and then the second
I think
one.
it was what 18K. or something.
I think it was
18K.
18K.
I bought it at 21 and then it dropped
Then it
down
went
to
to
18,990.
I bought
Yeah.
it when it was 18, I think.
Mm.
plus some offers or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But it was still a good watch.
It was a good watch.
Beautiful. Design was
Yeah,
really good.
amazing.
Design was
yeah.
really, really
No,
good.
I think there is something definitely about that circular form factor which makes it more, beautiful on the wrist. Aesthetically, it is better.
Yeah.
Like, I think they are just doing it to have the differentiation. I mean, it's arguable which
No,
is
it's,
better.
it's also, I think that form factor is better for text consumption and stuff like that. The way
Yeah,
we are.
more area?
More area, yeah.
Yeah. Not
it-
more
is it
area,
more
but
area?
most of our content is in that particular format, right?
Mm.
So if you're reading messages or something like that, so
Yeah.
it's essentially because of that. I'm assuming. I
Makes
don't know.
sense.
I've not spoken to anyone in Apple, so I'm not too sure.
But the
about
kind
this.
of UI that they have, like when you want to open apps, like you see all the apps, it's designed in a way which is better suited for a circular watch.
It will
Yeah,
probably yes.
Which is true, which is true. Exactly what I was thinking, because the moment you do the app thing, it looks like there's a lot of negative space,
Yeah.
which
Mm.
in a circular display would have been perfectly,
I
captured well. So, yeah.
Maybe they saw Moto and like we're not doing that. let's
Could be.
let's go the other.
I
like-
remember the first Moto watch when it launched. The video that dropped for that watch, I think it was just spellbinding. It was brilliant. I wasn't a part of that, but if you're thinking. But yeah, that was quite amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, the watches overall, I think, I mean, marginally better, but I guess not too different from the last 2-3 generations.
Was the packaging also like a watch case for Moto 360? Like
Yeah,
a
it
round,
was
right,
a
like a
round one
cylindrical.
which used to open.
Oh yeah.
I remember. I think
That's
Moto,
why it
Moto,
felt so much closer to owning a
Watch.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moto has always had good packaging. I remember the first Razer V3, the metal box.
I didn't.
That was really nice as well. So
I don't
I couldn't
remember
afford
either.
it that time.
no, but I think yeah. So good updates, but I think there needs to be something more from a substance perspective, at least.
Like
See,
from
the
iPhone to
charging thing
iPhone
is-
10, they just went
Yeah,
exponential.
so actually that right.
Did they use X for this one?
No,
I did not
no,
see.
no.
it
It's
was
Series
Watch
10.
10.
Interesting.
Series
Series
10,
10, yeah.
Probably because most people ended up calling it iPhone X.
Yeah.
It became X, right?
And XR, right? The X,
X and
Yeah.
XR, and then it
Yeah.
became 11.
11, yeah, which was off. I think the trajectory.
Yeah.
Although from a typography perspective, X looks really cool.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was very
Yeah,
cool.
very cool. So
It kind of seems like an inflection point. Like
yeah,
Yeah, it
E-
became
even-
actually one, right?
even-
yeah, and it
their,
was actually that entire Face
even
ID
the
thing
Mac
and all
OS,
that.
right? OS X is how people refer it to. They don't say
Yeah.
OS 10.
Yeah.
Although it is supposed to be OS 10, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, so watch. Then I think for me at least the most interesting ones were on the AirPods,
AirPods, yeah.
Hmm.
and specifically the base AirPods 4 now, right? Where without the silicon tip or without any kind of enclosure, they're claiming to have ANC.
That's the higher model. So they
That's
have
the higher
like-
model, right?
Yeah.
So
one regular.
179. I don't know how much is it in
$100
India.
more expensive.
No, 129 and 179.
Yeah.
129 and 179.
120. So they have a base one without ANC now.
Okay, no. I
And then
was
there is
thinking
the
what
one with
phone, huh?
ANC.
Hmm.
On the
Correct.
Yeah.
So
But,
ANC, but without any sealant. Like the best ANC I've had was on the Bose QC20s, right? Not even the QC30. The QC20 I think has the best ANC, but the silicon tips
Yeah.
kind of formed a passive seal.
Correct.
In this one, there is no seal,
Hmm.
which is going to be interesting.
So yeah, probably look out for let's see how the reviews and all that are going, because it without that passive sealing, don't think it will be very efficient, that ANC. But I'm just assuming, of
Yeah.
course.
I mean, it's
I mean,
basic physics, right?
Yeah. I'm not
Like,
too,
if you
not too
wanna-
sure how the reviews would come out, but I would
Hmm.
want to try it out for myself, right?
I mean, I would also like to compare it with our upcoming
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, should
But
do that.
yeah, I mean, that would be definitely an interesting take on
Yeah. So that
ANC.
like I actually kind of stopped and thought for a bit while the launch was going on, saying how are they able to do this without any seals? Yeah, so we'll have to see how that
Yeah.
goes.
A lot of people don't prefer something touching the ear, or basically don't find it very comfortable.
No,
So
I also don't like tips going in,
Yeah.
but unfortunately I also like ANC.
Correct.
And the
correct.
question is, the comfort
Can
or
it be
the
done? Yeah.
benefit,
Hmm.
right? So the
Correct.
benefits of ANC, at least for me,
Yeah.
are substantially more that I'm like, okay, this is a bit of a discomfort,
Discomfort,
but
but it's fine. Yeah.
I'm willing to go with it.
And that's where I see a lot of people actually going for over-the-ear headphones.
Yes.
And maybe it's like sort of the best of both worlds. You don't have to put something inside, but at least you're getting the proper ANC and that isolation. And I think the Max also they updated, but
Max,
More
what is
colors.
the update though?
Maximum colors.
yeah,
New colors.
new colors.
Earlier also they had a lot of colors.
They
though.
had a lot of colors. They had like a blue,
So is
pink.
this new
whatever.
colors on top of the existing ones, or those have been phased out and
And
it's
they
only
did
new
Type
colors?
C.
Yeah, I think it'll be on top. I'm assuming because they still
Types.
need a base black or white, which was there earlier.
So with Type C, now earlier you could do a Type C to Lightning and
Charge it.
play music through it.
Yes, you can. Yeah,
Can you still do that now? C to
Type C to
C
Type C.
should be able to.
with wired playback.
Should be able to.
So then it becomes proper lossless instead of depending only on Bluetooth.
Earlier,
Does
I'm
iPhone
not
push
sure
out
if-
lossless through their Type C?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
So earlier, the wireless one did not support lossless. But
Oh.
wired, I don't know. I have not tried that.
I mean, primarily that's the biggest benefit. If you want lossless, then you have to get Apple Music. And they kind of.
But
push
that was sort
through.
of disappointing for the Max because it came out in 2020 end of 2020 or early 21. I think it came out, right?
I don't even remember.
But-
I
or
just
something.
remember
I
it
don't
was just too
remember.
expensive.
Yeah, it's been.
I
a
just
while.
remember the jokes that they made about that case and how you're supposed to be
Although,
carrying it.
have they changed the case?
No.
Huh.
No. No,
Well,
I think see it was expensive. That's all fine. Like people are okay with it, but I think the problem with the thing is even now after all these years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, they've not changed the chipset that's powering it, right?
yeah,
Whereas all the other pros and the non-pro models are getting those new chipsets, which is kind of
strange.
odd. Yeah.
Or I don't know if it could be that they had procured more than what
Excess.
they.
are able to sell.
So it's just
Which would be
I mean,
true, right?
which is
Because it costs as much as an iPhone,
yeah.
almost as much as an
Mm,
iPhone.
mm.
So
I mean,
obviously,
more than an iPhone if you compare certain discounts and other things. Right?
yeah,
So it's gone to 70K here. So
yeah. Plus, like,
70K.
yeah, it was 70K, right?
Wow. No,
At
I
that
heard
time.
59,900.
No, it had gone up to 65,
Oh yeah,
990.
in the middle it went up because of the
and then-
taxes.
so it had
it's
gone very expensive.
it's a lot
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah.
Like, I personally don't prefer overhead headphones. I mean, I use it with my PlayStation, but then it also becomes very tiresome for me.
I agree.
I just don't like
No,
that entire feel
I
of it.
like it, but not when traveling. So once TWS came in, then I'm like, okay, when traveling, that makes sense.
So-
But sitting on a desk or at home,
So
I think
traveling,
that's
I
better.
like the TWS case because it's
Yeah.
easy to kind of
Yeah.
move. But at home with the PlayStation,
Yeah.
I had those old Bose wired ones.
You plug it in the controller.
So plug it into the controller, they're more
Yeah,
comfortable.
that's the
and
easiest thing to
it's
do.
not.
Yeah.
This over-ear thing, make the entire area sweat, and you
Yeah,
kind of
it's
feel
horrible.
that ear
But
going
have you
warm and all
tried
that.
open backs?
So
Yeah, I
I
had the
also use
Xiaomi
that.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Xiaomi
have the
one?
Xiaomi one. It
Oh.
still works.
I gave it to to try it
Oh,
out.
try it.
That the
I did,
cushion
I did.
cushion has
Cushion
kind
has
of
gone
given
for
up,
you.
but because
Hmm.
it's older than my career at Xiaomi, because I bought it like
Well, actually,
before
you should
joining.
give some context.
Yeah.
How long you've been here? Else
So I'll be completed 9 years, but
Yeah.
I think I gave one to my wife in 2015, as soon as they launched on her birthday.
2015 they launched.
On her birthday.
Yes, I remember the headphones won the best headphone / audio gear in 2015 NDTV Awards.
Oh wow.
It actually sounded really good, but it sounded great to a lot of other people also. So it's
Yeah,
because
I mean,
it's
So it's for a
open
different
it's
use.
by design.
I use sometimes I also use the Sennheiser 599s.
They're also
Right,
very nice. Yeah.
So again, open back, so
Hmm.
you can hear a lot,
Yeah.
but kind of comfortable and they don't heat up as much.
Yeah.
Or
So
I don't know, probably it's
one
just
of the
psychological.
best ones that I've tried, there's Audio Technica ATH 900X
Huh.
Air series. So super light. It looks huge, but it's really light. So for hours and hours. So earlier when I was in film school, so watching films, editing, gaming, anything, I used to just use that, and it did not really feel like I had a huge headphone on
But
my head.
most people use that 50x or something, right?
Yeah,
50x.
Those
But-
I feel the clamping force is
Yeah,
too
that's
much.
what. So
That's
the-
why I
the-
don't like
the
it. Yeah.
Clamping was very, very hard.
So
So
this
even
one-
the hi-fi mans,
Yes.
they clamp very hard.
Yeah.
So after some time, at least for me,
So-
this part of the
So
jaw would start
people
hurting.
get those head models, right?
Correct,
and they
correct,
make sure that it actually stretches. Though M50X, I didn't like it mainly because of that. But this
Yeah.
is way better. Like I feel somewhere if I want to get back into it, I'll find one of those pre-owned ones. I don't think they're making it anymore. Those were really good, like proper.
The other
studio grade.
interesting one for AirPods, I think, was the old AirPods Pro. I think 2,
Yeah.
like, which has been
Second
there
gen.
for like 2 or 3 years now, right?
Yeah.
They're getting this hearing aid function,
Yeah, that was
I
very
which
saw.
I
cool.
thought
yeah.
was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because generally people don't want their hearing aid to look like a hearing aid,
Correct,
right? Because
correct,
it's
correct.
like a public image, and it kind of gets spoiled, right? If you see someone
But
wearing
this is
it,
just an AirPod.
just
yeah.
an AirPod.
You
So
could be listening to music or
yeah,
Correct. No, I think that's a good feature, and I think accessibility is definitely something that
yeah,
more people should do, right?
Definitely,
So
yeah.
that's a good thing. Yeah.
so that's there. And then coming to the phones,
Phones. First, the non-pro.
the non-pros,
the AirPods are also now Type C. So,
all of them are Type C.
So they
but
made everything.
The basic one, the Pro,
Yeah.
they had already done Type C.
Yeah,
Type-
the
Pro
basic
was,
ones.
I think Type C last year or last
Last year.
year.
Last to last year was the new gen, and
Oh,
then
Pro
they
2.
they had Lightning for a very short bit, and then they did
moved
Type
to
C
Type
also
C,
for that. Yeah.
Thanks to EU.
Very lightning fast
Ew.
decisions.
Lightning fast decisions. Okay.
Yeah. So the base iPhones.
Yeah.
I mean, the interesting part is the jump in performance.
Hmm.
It's
18.
almost So from 16 to 18,
Hmm.
almost like a 30% jump,
Yeah,
right? Is what
yeah.
they're claiming, and much more in the GPU performance. So effectively, that's almost like 2 generations worth, because most of the flagships now get 10-15% increment year on year.
Right.
Correct.
So I think that's quite interesting, which puts a lot of question on. Obviously, they'll continue to sell the iPhone 15 in India, but should you get that, or the jump in performance is worth now actively looking at like a iPhone 16 for people who are looking at the base
I
variant.
don't think most of the people buy iPhones for like the max
Performance.
performance. I mean, they want a great performance. They want something which is beyond 99.99% of the people.
Yeah.
But
Which an iPhone 15
how
can
often
also
will you find
sort of do.
someone right now in India, rocking an iPhone 16, right? Well, you will, of course. There is a entire Apple home and all those things, Apple Store.
Yeah.
But still, people are pretty much okay with the kind of
15
performance
as
that
well.
a 15 will deliver.
15 during Diwali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless Apple does like planned obsolescence
No,
only.
they're not. They're not. So they phased out 13, but
Correct.
14, 15 will continue
Yes.
to sell
Yes.
at the base ones, not
Correct.
the other models, along with the 16 series.
Yeah,
So
because
apparently
most of the people are okay because you still get the dynamic island on 15.
Yeah.
You have Type C already. I don't think Type C matter to a lot of Apple users. I mean, if I were to someday get it, and then Type C becomes like a very basic requirement for me. But Type C is also there. You have the big display. You have everything that you would want.
But this Type C is what? It's not Thunderbolt.
No,
The base one will not have Thunderbolt, so
Mm.
it'll be the other one, right?
that'll be on the Pro.
Hmm.
Last time also it was USB 2.0 only, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
So
base.
slow speeds.
But
But
I
But
think
that's fine. Again, I think.
But what's interesting is, like, after all these years, and of course, people on Twitter and everyone else will crib that it doesn't have a refresh rate.
60 hertz. Yeah.
But if they are okay, so here's the thing about them, right? So, or any manufacturer, the day it stops becoming commercially viable or if people stop buying is when they would be forced to change.
Correct.
Yeah.
If they're not changing, that basically means it does not really matter to consumers,
And it does
consumers
not.
are still
And
buying enough.
by the numbers that they're doing, of course.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah. I mean,
So still a 60 hertz panel.
A lot of people will still be waiting for Big Billion Day for that some insane deal happening on some iPhones.
Yeah.
So it does not really matter to them.
So yeah, that's interesting. However, what's really interesting is both the 16 and 16 plus effectively could be a better buy in India versus other countries. I mean, if you're an Indian.
Hmm.
So let's say it starts at 79,900 in India.
Hmm.
I mean, yes, you are getting a 120 GB, but let's go beyond that. At 128 GB and a 60 hertz, let's go beyond the specs.
Yeah.
But just from an economics perspective, 79,900 in India, and
Yeah.
I'm
Then
assuming you'll get some card offers or something
HDFC
like
maybe. No,
Yeah.
HDFC said
that.
that they
HDFC
have
said
stopped.
they don't want to
Yeah,
work,
yeah,
yeah.
but some other ones. So you
Some
could
other
probably
one.
get it for say 3,000 or 4,000 less.
Yeah.
Uh,
On top of it, you also get like 18 months no cost EMI.
You
with
get
the
also-
EMIs.
affordability options are there.
If you go buy it from Hong Kong, you'll get it for about 74.
Hmm.
But then it's the reverse charges. So essentially,
Yeah.
because you have to
Yeah.
swipe your card,
Forex charges.
yeah.
other
so the
GST.
forex and
Forex
all of
and
that will
IGST and
add
all.
like another 4% to it.
Yeah.
Correct.
And again,
Easy.
no affordability. Basically,
Yeah.
it's outright.
And, yeah.
All upfront.
And if you go to Dubai, it's roughly about 76 or 77 equivalent.
Hmm.
Again, you add your card charges, it actually goes beyond.
I think a lot of people who are going to buy will probably take out the cash and get it. I mean, at least people in Delhi, like people around me, definitely nobody is taking out a card to buy an iPhone.
But then
No, there is
those-
a lot of people.
There are, but I mean, I'm just saying my circle, whoever I've seen, buying an iPhone, they just go cash.
But then do they go regular or pro? That's the other question.
Pro, of
Nah, they'll go
course.
pro.
They'll go
See,
pro.
the logic in Delhi is 3 camera wala iPhone, 2 camera wala kuch nahi. So it's just simple logics that they follow. If it's
Which is why they had those add-ons also, right? To make
Yeah.
it look like a 3-camera iPhone.
Yeah.
The iPhone 10.
I keep seeing those
Yeah.
reels. Sir, ये मेरा phone को iPhone बना
iPhone
दो,
बना दो, yeah.
and then it will be like 250 रुपए लगेगा. अरे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है.
But the pros,
And we'll have 120 hertz maybe.
there's a big cost difference.
Yeah.
Right? So, for example, I think you save about 20 or 25,000 versus Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And I'm giving Hong Kong as an example because there is no tax in Hong Kong. Right? So here you get the taxes added on, and almost a 30K difference in the Pro Maxes.
Yeah.
Although both of them are cheaper than last year.
Yeah.
So
30K, that's a lot.
30K difference. But last time it was even more. Last
More,
time it was
yeah.
like from 45K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I do a calculation, so last year they were importing everything.
Yeah.
So import taxes were about 22% last year.
Hmm.
Right? So that was coming straight on.
Hmm.
Right? So if I remove that 22%, it gets closer to the the Hong Kong pricing, right?
Yeah.
Uh, this year, the import duty is actually reduced to 15%
Hmm.
from 22. So there's some benefit coming in.
Yeah.
So we are still not seeing the benefit of the Make in India Pro phones,
Yeah.
which I'm assuming will come in later, and that goes as probably like a pure profit or something like that at a later stage. So they've played it that ways, or I think it's taking that 15% off essentially is not exactly 7% difference in the import duty. So maybe they've already factored in some aspect saying towards a certain part of their life cycle, they'll start selling the India models. And the India models, because they'll be significantly cheaper, can balance out the import ones. So interesting play in the pricing. This is, I think, the
Yeah.
second time they've taken a small step back. I think the first time was like when they were doing the iPhone 6 or the 6S,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember
where it
that.
had gone up to 59 and then came down to 54 or 64 to
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
59.
know.
Long time back. This is like close to 10 years ago.
I don't know. I was like a proper Android Xiaomi fanboy. So, if anyone tried to pitch me iPhone, I don't want this phone. It's
No,
just.
but you still have to track the market. No?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I don't remember the price. I know all the features that they had, like the iPhone 5C, like a lot of, people went crazy about the color way and
It
all
didn't
those
sell
things.
though.
It did not, but I still see a lot of people buying it because it just looks very cool. It just looks in that plastic shell and all. It just actually looked very vibrant and all compared to a
It
regular
did.
iPhone.
It did.
Actually, the new 16 is not bad. Good colors.
Yeah.
Although the previous ones were sort of bordering
Very,
or reaching
very.
a point where there's no color. It's like
Yeah, it was
the
very
printer ran
white.
out of
Yeah.
ink, right? That's what they were saying. So it's like a pink was a white with a splash of pink. Every color was so desaturated that you
Yeah.
could barely make out the
And
difference.
and the new color that they added to the Pro
The
definitely makes
the
life
desert
life
Desert, and they've called it also desert titanium.
it's not like what kind of dessert is this?
No, it's like a
Creme
Middle
brulee.
Eastern thing, right? Like if you call it desert,
No, I
TG
don't
is
think.
there.
But
or maybe TG is there.
That's what I'm saying. TG is there only. So.
I don't know. I mean, I think I saw one of the posts today saying that most people will end up buying that color because that's the only new color. So at least
Yeah.
you can tell that you bought a new one.
So again, that's the point, right? People are not really looking for what new performance jump is there, what is
Yeah.
it. People just want to know how can I make sure that everyone understands I bought the new iPhone. So this color like purple, like green and all that they kept
the
introducing.
ultramarine color.
Yeah.
And actually, because the camera deco is different now, you don't need to buy a different color also. At least they know seeing the deco.
Camera deco is very similar on the Pro side.
Pro is same.
It's-
the regular one.
The classic one, yeah.
It's
Classic, they've
changed.
just
Classic
brought
one
it
has
back,
changed.
yeah.
The Pros kind of the same. Uh,
Which is weird. From the iPhone 11 onwards, it's the same. It's just gotten
Yeah,
bigger
it's
and bigger.
yeah,
And now
11,
it's
12,
even
13, 14,
bigger, I'm
15,
assuming.
16.
Yeah,
Damn.
there's a lot of generations.
That
But
people are okay.
What do you think of the bigger sizes?
Oh, that is a very interesting thing. Like they were always on like your 6.1 size. We we did 6.36, and now somehow it becomes like a very interesting size for a lot of people. I mean, the first one is definitely this. I think we'll keep seeing more and more of this. But like we kept saying that 6.36 is the perfect spot between a really small display and a really large display.
Yeah.
But then maybe it did not really go to that extent. But now when Apple
Yeah.
does it, I'm sure that a lot of people said that this is the perfect size. Apple really cracked it.
Yeah. No, 6.3 is a good size, but the
See?
6.9 is
6.9, I think, is a
6.9
little
is
too big.
it's too big.
Probably. I don't know.
I think they were going for some hidden jokes
No.
that your
Ah.
that your
Yeah.
MKBHD
No.
and all that can push. MKBHD is going to it's right in front of me. I
Yeah.
have to make this joke.
No, because 6.7 itself was actually difficult to hold. And obviously people are going to put a case on it or do something, which makes it even bigger. And it's not even a sleek form factor. It's a
Yeah,
wider aspect
it's
ratio,
a wider aspect ratio.
which makes it difficult
little
to hold.
harder to kind of
now
grip.
with the 6.9 with the same aspect ratio, I think it's going to be pretty difficult to handle.
Yeah. But I mean, the main difference, like I think the main camera is still the same, exactly the same. They've obviously, because of the additional processing, or I don't know if it's a new sensor. I don't really see it as a new sensor. They can do 4K 120.
Yeah.
So 4K
I think it's
120.
more
Now you
of a
can do
chipset play.
4K 120 on the base iPhone
128
16 Pro
Yeah.
with 128 GB. So yeah, your phone probably will run out of space really, really quick.
Very soon, yeah.
Your videos are in slow mo. Your storage is in fast forward.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
I think the other thing, the 5x telephoto comes onto the
The
regular
base
Pro.
Pro.
Yeah, the base Pro.
Which is
Which
interesting.
is a good. Yeah.
However, the 15 Pro Max, when we were testing the 5X,
Yeah,
was okay. I mean, it
was not so
needed
great.
some more polishing there.
I
at
think
that point.
too noisy. That is
Yeah,
the
that
main
was
sort of
the-
feedback. Like compared to even a 14 or a 14 Ultra, the images had too much noise, and even the edge detection was not too
that
great.
good.
Yeah.
On the price bit, I saw this tweet in the morning of the backpacking Daku. He keeps talking about like insane
Yeah, he
deals
does
from
that entire
other.
thing, right? If you travel here
So he did this math of if you're buying a Pro or a Pro Max, then you can have a ticket of Vietnam, return ticket of Vietnam, as well as visa and all that. You can roam around, get the iPhone, and still save some money. So that was an interesting math, I would
or you
say.
can go there, not buy the iPhone, and save even more money.
Or you don't go
Or
there
don't
at all.
go
and
there
save
at
the
all
entire
and
money.
stay at home and save more money.
Yeah. Or if
It's
you had
like that joke, right?
had-
How to save money this Diwali sale. Delete Flipkart, delete Amazon, delete this.
the same thing will come. I think in a couple of weeks we'll have the same joke on WhatsApp.
See,
Yeah.
it's the same joke for every Teacher's Day. It's the same joke for every BBD. It's the same joke for iPhone. I think kidney jokes have stopped.
Kidney jokes have
Kidneys
stopped
are-
actually. I
because
think,
kidneys are gone.
Yeah, kidneys are more expensive, I'm guessing, because it's
kidney
an
inflation has been higher.
Yeah.
appreciating asset.
Yeah.
But as in this entire saving thing, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that okay, instead of buying something for 1.45 lakhs, if you buy Apple stock, in
Yeah.
10 years,
Or that people even say for Starbucks, right?
yeah,
Just buy the
Like
stock.
call me at my stock exchange. I bought shares instead of
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
So you basically stop buying anything,
Yeah.
and
keep
later
it.
on when you can't really use that stuff, you can definitely buy it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing is happening with me on video games, no? Like everyone said, you keep studying, you keep working hard. One day you'll have money to play all the games that you want. Now I have all the games. I don't have the time to play
Time to
them.
play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot about the new button, camera control.
Camera cut. That I think is a solution in search of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first thing I thought of is side mounted fingerprint scanner,
Yeah.
which doubles up
With
as
gestures control. Gesture
yeah,
control.
gesture control, right? Which
Yeah.
was there.
which was there on I think some
Note
of our
9 Pro.
Note 9, Note 10 Pro also. I think.
Note 10 Pro as
Yeah.
well.
Note 10 Pro, Redmi
Yeah.
Note 10 Pro
Yeah.
Yeah.
at 16,999.
Yeah. So we had
Hey,
that.
Note 10 Pro actually started lower than that.
15,999.
15,999.
Yeah. So had it before it was cool. And
Yeah.
Now this comes.
No,
in.
but I think the reason we kind of stopped using it because it wasn't very useful as a feature.
Yeah.
So at least this, beyond the camera controls, I don't think has too much of a problem.
But if they were to give contextual awareness, then maybe.
But like, so I was looking at the demo, right, and long press that one to fire up the camera. Right next to it, on the lock screen,
Yeah.
you've got the camera shortcut. There's
Yeah.
a camera and torch, right, which I think
Yeah.
now you can change with iOS 18. So there's a camera button right there, but you
Yeah.
have to press that one by moving your
Yeah.
thumb really
No,
further down.
ergonomically it does not make sense.
And then on the other side, last year they had introduced that action button.
yeah.
So you've got 3 ways of launching that damn camera.
Yeah.
No, I somehow feel that with all this addition, it just looks more cluttered than
Yes.
looking
Yeah, it
elegant.
is.
It just looks
Which,
like I actually noticed that those sites. It just looks like it's too much happening. It's the opposite direction of what they kind of pitch for MacBook, saying that it's aesthetic minimalism. You don't need all that, and now they like place everything you
It's
can
like
find.
they missed buttons on the top and
Which-
bottom.
which
You
is
can also
also
add
Maybe
something.
they add an IR
Because-
blaster next.
No, because in US they have the millimeter wave cutout also on
Oh,
the
yeah.
right side.
Oh, is
So-
that the place?
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
the
yeah.
place, right?
Which looks like a pencil
So-
can be.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
so that was there till now.
But-
So what happens to that now?
I don't know.
So is millimeter wave support dropped,
Maybe.
or is that also there? So you have a
along
power
with that
button,
entire thing.
that thing,
No,
and the
be.
other button.
Because they showed some haptics there, so there's no millimeter wave antenna anymore. It now supports Wi-Fi 7,
Yeah,
but
No millimeter wave.
probably not. I don't know. We'll probably have
Yeah.
to check that one.
even I don't know.
But I
I
mean,
did not.
not that we can use it.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, just
So-
millimeter wave.
Yeah, so I mean, just what 3 buttons on one side,
Yeah.
action button and the volume buttons. Then you've
Yeah.
got power button. Then you've got this button here.
Yeah.
It's just whichever
Well-
way you hold it, I can just imagine the number of accidental, presses
Oh,
or
yeah, that's true.
activations that are going to be there.
Which is also
Like imagine recording in 4K 120, recording your pocket.
Oh,
It will be
yeah.
brilliant.
which is also
Nice.
ironic considering how Steve Jobs initially launched, right?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? We're going to put a row of buttons. And they're like, yuck. Remove the buttons. And then now we're getting all these buttons again. So
He said that for pencil styluses
and then we had the pencil. Yeah.
and then the pencil came in later.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we're changing.
Yeah. But yeah, I think overall,
From a so two aspects of it, right? So one is from a product perspective, it's incremental.
Mhm.
Uh, a few good things. I mean, especially on the audio side, I am quite impressed with what they were able to pull off.
for the non-pro.
For the non-pro one.
Actually, pro with the hearing aid thing.
And
but
that
yeah.
also is pretty very,
Yeah.
I mean, quite cool to think of something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense if you look back at it, but very, very cool there. You know what? One aspect that I kind of realized, they've got perhaps some of the best presenters in the industry.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And over the years, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, but over the years, their enthusiasm has been dropping.
Mm.
And that's largely because for now almost 4 years, they've been presenting to a camera. They're not presenting to an audience.
Live audience. Yeah.
Some of these guys were brilliant in front of audiences,
Yeah.
right?
There's-
They would
Yeah.
draw that
There's no
energy and
feedback.
yeah, so you need that feedback. They would have those plays.
Yeah.
I remember when that Face ID didn't work for the first time, there was still a play to it. And there used to be this sense of nervousness which
Yeah.
would bring out the best in them because they knew that if something went wrong on the stage, which all of us know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, things on stage can go wrong.
Correct.
And there's a sense of nervousness which also comes across in your tonality.
Yeah.
That tonality seems to be going very, very flat.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when you're recording a video, if something goes wrong, you'll just take another take.
Yeah.
Right? So that modulation is gone.
The stakes are much lower.
Yeah. There is nothing to lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that's beginning to show now.
Interesting.
Maybe they need to go back into doing some.
They should. Yeah. I think
Also, I felt like too many people with very little part to add. In that sense that
There's
they
too
do
many
that.
jumps.
Too many jumps,
Yeah.
and just for a small section, let's say a 1 minute long section, you have another person, then you have another person for 1 minute, and then you also have demo videos playing in the middle of presentation, like you say
It's
that
like school prize giving.
yeah. So it's just a lot to happening.
Yeah.
I just felt that it's too much happening. So I personally felt that it was lacking that Apple kind of a vibe to it. It just felt a bit haphazard, like they just put
Yeah.
something
I
together
think
and did it.
when something like that becomes just a gimmick, that's a bad thing. But when used creatively in moderation, it can.
Yeah, that inclusive thing that they
I mean,
do is
that's good.
fine. That's good.
Yeah.
I think what they need to do is because there's so many characters that come in, right? They need a good director. Someone like a Guy Ritchie who comes in
Oh,
and you have those fast cuts and make it really, really cool.
Hmm.
Nice.
I mean,
I like one part of it, like when they were discussing the cameras on iPhone. I think the Indian guy actually presented the Piyush. Someone. So where he was standing, it was actually a very scenic area.
Yeah, it was.
So it just looked like it's meant to be. He was meant to be there for a photo, and that's why he's talking about camera. So I found that
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, I think they scout for locations really well.
yeah,
Like
the location
is
Even
always
that thing
top
of that the noise cancellation is great, so they're actually at the park and all
Yeah,
those things.
yeah.
But I mean, from a technical perspective, one aspect is it's in Dolby Vision
Mm.
and it's in surround sound. I don't know if it's
And
Dolby
shot on iPhone.
Dolby 5.1 or this. So they obviously do the audio remastering later as
Yeah.
well. So when the music kicks in, so for example, the AirPods section, there was music playing on the surround speakers.
Oh,
I mean, I was watching it at home,
Hmm.
so it was while the speech was from the center channel.
I have a sound bar, but I did not really notice that. Maybe because you have like proper channels,
Yeah.
you kind of follow
Like I
that.
could hear the music move around, and
Nice.
sometimes the chatters coming from the side and all that. So
I think that's good.
that
I
is
mean,
really well done.
I think maybe from an audience perspective, people watching at home, it might help them. But like you said, because
So most people are watching it on the phone
yeah, no,
or
I'm
a
saying-
tablet or a laptop, so they'll not
So
get this.
maybe
around.
that's why they made the shift. Instead of having maybe the 100 or 200 or 300 odd people who come there, the feedback that they
No,
get.
I mean,
yeah.
everyone used to watch it even at that time, right? When they were
That's true, that's true.
doing live launches.
And I think those were even more impactful, even with those
Yeah.
basic slides.
I mean, imagine like Steve Jobs doing that phone, internet, and music
yeah,
thing
it's a phone
on
it's
in a
internet
video.
communication.
I think I
device,
remember seeing Steve Jobs. I mean, not in person, but
yeah.
a live video when he was doing the iPad launch.
Oh.
The
The first
envelope
iPad.
was- oh, okay.
The envelope was
MacBook Air.
the MacBook
I
Air.
did watch it, but I don't remember which.
So basically, there was a sofa in the middle of the thing, and he sat down with it.
Yeah.
So he's kind of showing how do you use this for kind of lean back computing.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, as opposed to a desk and yeah.
But it was like a performance art,
Yeah.
right? I mean, he coming in, it's choreographed, it's performance.
Correct.
So that element is gone. And my fear is if Apple continues to go down this way, slowly the entire, I mean, they are the industry leaders, right? They are a $3 trillion, I don't know how many zeros it has, company.
A lot of zeros.
They are in more ways than one leading the industry.
Correct.
In more ways, in not just product, but how what you should talk about, how you should present.
Correct.
What the corporate governance is. They're leading in terms of the recycling aspect and going green and all that. But if they take away the romance of launching new products, it could kind of affect the entire industry.
Yeah.
That would impact customers, or at least the enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And if the enthusiasm starts dying down, it's like, from a car perspective, if I look back, 80s, 90s, I don't think there was a single kid who did not have a cool car poster or a few things. It's slowly died out.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just hoping that this does not happen to this industry. Otherwise, we'll have to find something cooler, like the SU7 probably.
Yeah.
We already have something cool as well.
But fingers crossed. I'm hoping that there will be enough interventions, enough instances where things
Maybe
come back on track. But on that note, I think good chat. I think let's.
Oh, by the way, tonight is PlayStation
PlayStation.
technical.
there's a PlayStation 5
So
Pro
maybe
coming
we
in.
should come back and
Yeah,
have
we
that
should,
discussion as well.
Let us know, guys, if you want to hear us talk about the
PlayStation 5, if we do a thing, that discussion will go on for a few hours.
Yeah.
just bring the console here.
Maybe we'll start a bidding also. I'm selling my PS5 because I want to buy.
Live bidding. You guys can So Gautam will be selling it, and you guys can buy it. But on that note, thank you guys for watching. See you guys again very, very soon. Let us know if you actually want us to talk about the PlayStation 5 in the comments below. As always, like, share, and subscribe.